In July 2022, the Planning Board voted against a request for an additional parking lot at Enterprise Rental Car at 596 Boston Providence Highway. In the fall of 2021, at the special town meeting, members voted on a comprehensive zoning change for the Boston Providence Highway District, including this parcel of land and many others in the Route 1 corridor. After the Land Court appeal did not change the ruling, the owner has brought the matter before the Zoning Board of Appeals. At the October 22, 2024 ZBA meeting, there was a public hearing to discuss the application for additional parking on this parcel of land between the Route 1 on the ramp and the Neponset Street extension.
This application requests a special permit under section 3.1.5 table of uses K1 and 3.1.6 footnote 9 for accessory parking on a lot in a residential district which is accessory to a non-residential use in the same lot.
And during the process of that being appealed to the land court, the applicant and the planning board were engaged in negotiations to reorient the parking, reduce the parking in a manner that would make it more consistent with footnote 12. And in the middle of that process, there's a special town meeting vote that zones the enterprise lot and the vacant lot back into the S residence district. And that's an effort that's spearheaded by some of the interested community members that you'll hear from this evening. So as a result of that, the application before the planning board is somewhat thrown in flux because at the time there needs to be approval from the Attorney General in order to ascertain whether or not the zoning amendment that's been voted on is valid and whether or not it's going to stand. So there's a long, prolonged wait for that. The applicant having filed an appeal of that zoning amendment, indicating that it's arguing that it's spot zoning, which is zoning that targets a particular lot. After the Attorney General approves that zoning change, in reviewing the bylaws, now that the property is back in the residence district, the 100-foot rule that I referenced with respect to the Boston Providence Highway District no longer applies, and that is how the application is before you this evening. It's solely a result of that rezoning of the property back into the S district, which allows for this plan to have the parking located within 100 feet of Route 1 and also applying as accessory parking. And there are some key differences between this plan and the plan that was before the planning board that I want to elaborate on.
With the proposed plan predicted to affect multiple homes in the neighborhood, 2 Norwood residents reached out to NCM to voice their concerns.
It will affect us horribly. In short, if you look behind us, there's almost 2 acres of really mature woods back there that separates us from the Route 1 highway. And so the noise, the lights, the traffic, the privacy of, my kids play back here, we are shielded with these woods. Not only that, it's beautiful. We have, deer, owls, peregrine falcons, rabbits, all sorts of wildlife back here who make this their home. So there's a huge difference between having this as your backyard and as the backdrop versus a parking lot right behind you in terms of our property values, our way of life, our privacy, our security. So imagine if you're living here, if you're living here, and imagine if, in the middle of the night, there's people returning rental cars, or there's, people coming at all hours, there are car alarms going off, there's security lights blasting into your bedroom windows, there's, car carriers coming in and out trying to deliver cars, there's employees coming in, at all hours. And so really the difference between having a piece of enjoyment of your, quiet enjoyment of your property versus having a parking lot directly in your backyard, especially for rental cars where people can come in and out at all times. They're not necessarily people who even live in Norwood, so, may not have the pride of the neighborhood, of the community. They're just returning rental cars back and forth. And so just to have that in your backyard versus this, what you see.
And that it's affecting, there are 14 homes that will be affected directly because the parking lot will be behind their homes.
We are here again after that because there was such opposition to this, and once the town heard that this had been made into commercial parking lot and was susceptible to being torn down, people love these woods, not just our residential neighborhood, but everybody going in and out of Norwood on that rotary sees these woods as they come in and out of Norwood. Nobody wants more parking. Nobody wants more paved area in this town. And so town meeting, 151 people in town meeting stood up and voted to rezone this residential, which is how it was for the last 70 years.
Yeah, forever.
So 151 people stood up. It was overwhelming. It was just an incredible show of support for the community and for Norwood. Rezoned this for the purpose of protecting these woods and making sure it would never turn into a parking lot. I would first thank the community for all the incredible support and outreach we've received so far. The fact that so many people have written letters, have stood up and spoken at these hearings, stood up at town meeting and voted for this change to residential and to protect these woods means that it mattered and it worked, and we just need to keep doing it. So I would say come on out to the hearing on December 3rd at 7 p.m. Please come. It's at the Senior Center. It matters. It matters to show what this means to the town of Norwood. It matters to show that we want to keep these woods and how much they mean to us. It matters that we want green space rather than paved space. It matters that we hear your voice. And so I would say thank you to the community for everything you've done so far, and just please keep doing it.
NCM reached out to Brian Almeida, who represents CMI Properties, for comment, but has not heard back. The matter has been continued to the December 3rd ZBA meeting.